Hello everybody. Today we are going to discuss simple machine, the first part. So you are the students of class 5 as we have discussed in the last live classes. I have already discussed, I gave you some idea about the machine. So this is nothing but the recapitulation of that particular discussion, but little bit in elaborated way. So the machine means a kind of device which by using of which you can simplify your work. That means if you use a machine that actually helps you a lot, you need to, that means the loss of energy is less and you can do the work much more easier as compared with without using a machine. If you use the machine, then that should be the very easy for you to perform any kind of work. So as we discussed in the last day that there are 6 types of the simple machines: lever, pulley, wheel and axle, inclined plane, screw and the wedge. So today we are going to discuss lever and the pulley. In online class I have also discussed about the pulley, so let's recap this particular part. So first of all, what is the lever? What I told you, that lever is a kind of rigid rod and it has the 3 parts. The part 1 where you apply the effort to perform any activity, and another part is that the load means the obstacle, that you have to do some work by overcoming that obstacle. And another point is that in the lever, that is a fixed point, that is the pivot point, pivot, pivot point, which is termed as the fulcrum. So for any kind of the lever, there are 3 parts: effort, where you apply some effort to perform the work or activity. Another is the load to overcome the obstacle, and the fulcrum. So there are 3 kinds of the lever: class 1, class 2 and class 3. Now you see, this is the diagram of a class 1 lever. This is the diagrammatic representation of a class 1 lever. And in this figure you see the 3 points are there, A, B and C. The point A is indicate, that is the point of load, where the load is situated. Point B is the effort, and in between the load and effort, somewhere in between, not exactly in the middle, it is not mandatory that the fulcrum point C is situated just at the midpoint. It may be anywhere near to the load, near to the effort, but the fulcrum is situated in between the load and the effort. Fulcrum is the pivot point. The activity of a lever actually depends the position of the fulcrum. Okay. So class 1 lever, load and effort at the 2 ends and fulcrum is situated at the middle. The distance between the load to fulcrum is termed as the load arm. Here it is AC. And the distance between the effort and the fulcrum is termed as the effort arm. What is the figure? In figure, the effort arm is BC. Now, so many examples are there in your book. I am giving you 1 or 2, 3 simple examples. You see, this is the drawing of a pair of scissors. Drawing is not at all good, but actually it helps you to understand that this is a pair of scissors. You are familiar with that one. So you are applying the effort by placing your finger in that 2 holes. And start. Okay, you see, this is a pair of scissors. So I am placing the finger here. Okay, since the drawing is not so good, that's why I am explaining. So you are placing the finger here. This point, that is the fulcrum, and these are the blades. And if you place any obstacle like the piece of paper or a piece of cloth, by using this one, by moving your finger, you can cut that one. So this is the pair of scissors. It is an example of class 1 lever. You see, this is the point of application of effort. This is the position of the load. Consider this is a piece of paper and here it is the fulcrum. So a pair of scissors, it is an example of class 1 lever. You can justify it by seeing the drawing. Another example is crowbar. Crowbar in Bengali, those who are Bengali student, I can explain that crowbar means যাকে বাংলায় বলছে শাবল. শাবল, you are familiar, the crowbar. Okay. So here this is the drawing of a crowbar. Now what you have to do, say in the ground a piece of brick is there and you have to remove that piece of brick by using that crowbar. So what you have to do, you have to hold the crowbar here. Your finger, your hands should be placed here because you have to apply the effort like this. Okay, so here it is the effort point and this is the support. Whenever you are removing a piece of stone or a piece of brick, whatever the obstacle, then you need to a support. So the bending part, this is the support. Here it is the fulcrum, and you see that this is the obstacle, a piece of brick or stone or whatever you want to remove from the ground, whatever. So this is the load. So you see that crowbar, when you applying the crowbar, you holding the crowbar here. Okay, so this is the effort point. This is the support point of the crowbar, fulcrum, and here it is the load. Crowbar means বাংলায় যাকে বলছি শাবল. Okay, so crowbar. So this is an example of class 1 lever. This is a claw hammer. Claw hammer, it is used to pick up the nail from the board or pick up the nail from the wall. It is also, you are familiar with this kind of instrument, claw hammer. Claw hammer is generally used to pick up the nails from the wooden block or from the wall. So you see that claw hammer, these drawings are really horrible. Honestly, I'm saying these drawings are horrible, but you can, I'm trying my best to explain that one. So this is the claw hammer. So here you are applying that claw hammer. If you think about that pen, it's a claw hammer. So you are applying this one, and this is the ground or piece of wood, and here the nail is there. So say the nail is there like this placing, and you are using this one like this. So you see that you are applying effort here. So you need a support to move that claw hammer. So here it is the position of the fulcrum. And you see that the obstacle here, a nail. So this is the load. So effort and load in between fulcrum. So these are the common examples where I think that you can now understand the class 1 lever. Next is the class 2 lever. Here you see that the load is situated in between effort and fulcrum. So it's obvious that the load arm is shorter than that of the effort arm, because here this is the load arm and the effort arm, and here it is the load arm. Now the load is situated in between that fulcrum and the effort. F stands for the fulcrum, L stands for the load, and E stands for the effort. Now you see the nut cracker. Nut cracker, it is, you are also familiar, বাংলায় যাকে বলছে জাঁতি, জাঁতি যেটা দাদু ঠাকুমারা ইউজ করেন. Okay, nut cracker. So this is the drawing of a nut cracker, and you see that you are applying the effort. Nut cracker, here is, you are applying the effort. So here it is the effort point. This is the mouth of the nutcracker. That means the front position. A nut is, that means a screw is there. That is the fulcrum. And you see that shaded region, consider it's a nut. Now, if you apply that one, now it is easy to crack the shell of a nut by using the nutcracker. So nutcracker, you see the load. Here it is the nut. It is in between effort and fulcrum. So nutcracker, it is an example of class 2 lever. Consider this one, a bottle opener, to open the bottle of cold drink or whatever. This is also a familiar one. Now you see this is the bottle. Okay, now this is the bottle opener. So what you are doing, you are applying the effort. Okay, so you are applying the effort. So this is the effort point. You consider about your finger or hand, you are moving it like this. So this is the effort. That the tip of the bottle, okay, that means the cork, that is the load, because you have to open that one. So this is the load. And at the front of that mouth, That means if you consider the end part of the bottle, when you open that one, do it physically at home, then you see that the bottle, if you consider this is the bottle. Okay, this is the bottle opener. Okay, now you see what you have to do. You have to place it in that way, and you have to apply the effort. So here it is the position. So here it is the effort. Now you see that particular position, that is the load. You have to open that one. Okay, you have to open this one. Now whenever you are open this one, you see this particular position that actually acts as a point of fulcrum. So this bottle opener, it is also an example of class 2 lever. Now consider the class 3 lever. Here the effort is situated in between the load and the fulcrum. The effort is situated, so the effort arm is shorter, and because effort arm means the distance between the fulcrum and the effort, and the load arm is the distance between the load and fulcrum. Then load arm is bigger, effort arm is shorter. So sugar tongue in that sweet shop, they are actually using that kind of sugar tongue to pick up the rasgulla from the tumbler. Okay, so sugar tongue. Now you see this is the rasgulla. So this is the load, and they are actually holding the sugar tongue like this, or forceps. Forceps is it here? Forceps is not here. So forceps or sugar tongue, you are applying that effort here at the middle, and this bending position, this is the supporting point to act as a fulcrum here. Or the fishing rod. Fishing rod, you see that here where you that wheel, that means that portion, this is the fulcrum. The fish itself is a load, and whenever you use that fishing rod, this is the effort position, point of effort. So sugar tongue, fishing rod, or I can give you another example what I explained yesterday, that if you hold anything on your palm, so your hand is also act as a third kind of lever, because here that particular bottle, that is the load, and your elbow, that acts as a fulcrum point, and this particular, whenever you are placing something on your palm, so you feel the weight. So this is the effort. You have to apply the effort in the upward direction, because due to the weight of that object. So effort is at the middle, that elbow acts as the fulcrum, and here it is the load. So this is the, whenever you are holding any object on your palm, so this is the example of class 3 lever. So this is all about the lever. Next is that the pulley. When the load is much more heavier, then if you use the lever to overcome this kind of obstacle, it's not so easy. So you have to use some pulley. Pulley, that is a fixed axis of rotation is there. That means as per your book, what is the definition of pulley? It is given. Let me check. A pulley makes lifting the loads much easier. It is provided with a rope or chain. It is provided with a rope or chain that can move things either up or down. Okay. So, or back and forth. An elevator is an example of pulley. So there are the two kinds of the pulley. One is the fixed pulley and another is the movable pulley. A pulley that remains fixed in its position. Actually, the practical definition is that a pulley, fixed pulley, is that whose axis of rotation is fixed. That particular word is not mentioned in your book. In your book, it is given a pulley that remains fixed to a position. It's correct one. But if you write that a pulley is a fixed pulley whose axis of rotation, that particular point is a fixed one. That is the fulcrum, and here it is the load, and here it is the effort. Now if you apply the effort in the downward direction, consider that someone using that kind of pulley to pull a bucket full of water from the well. Someone is using this kind of fixed pulley, that he or she is actually applying the effort in the downward direction, and that the load goes up to pull a bucket full of water from a well. Another is to hoisting the flag. Hoisting a flag is also an example of fixed pulley. and another is the movable pulley, where the axis of rotation is not fixed. Here it is the fulcrum, here it is the load. Now in the movable pulley, in class 10 you will learn something more about the pulley, but I am not going to discuss in class 5. So you have to apply the effort in the upward direction. Okay, then the load that will move in the upward direction. Here you have to apply the effort in the downward, and here you have to apply the effort in the upward direction. So this is the movable pulley, and the example of movable pulley where it is given in your book, you see that by using the crane to pick up the load, that means here the car, this kind of pulley, this is an example of movable pulley. So today up to this much. Thank you.